Recycled 40k!
Right, welcome back to Recycled 40k. I buy most of my stuff from eBay and other auction sites and anywhere else I can find them. Car boot sales, junk shops. And then I try and recycle them and make them as good as I possibly can, because you don't need to buy new figures each time. You can pick up the worst, ugliest, most bashed up miniatures in the world and make them look pretty damn good with just a little bit of extra time and a few extra spare parts you got lying around. This week I've managed to get hold of a whole unit of Pretorians. Now I like Pretorians. Pretorians are great. They're really good Terminator killers, but I've got loads of Pretorians. What I don't have a lot of is lychguard. Now lychguard are absolutely awesome in the 8th edition, so I want to see if I can convert this entire squad of 5 into lychguard. So let's start with this guy here. First things you're going to need: tools, glues and solvent. We have got nice staining knife with a nice fresh blade, pair of decent tweezers, flat instrument for popping things apart and moving things around, pair of Gaze Workshop or other wire cutters, plastic clippers, some plastic solvent and some super glue. Let's get started. You're also going to need a whole load of parts. I have got the special back part. Now I got this from eBay and a whole load. If people build lychguard, they're going to have loads of Pretorian stuff left over, and if people build Pretorians, they're going to have loads of lychguard stuff left over. And you can pick them up for pennies on the internet. So I've got backpack, I've got a dispersion shield, I've got a couple of arms to attach to the dispersion shield, and I've also got the hub phase blade, or hub phase sword, which doesn't quite look like a sword, it's some kind of oblong thing, but still, it's awesome. I've also got a load of heads, a load of things, and a load of bases. Once you've got all the parts you need, it's time to start hacking apart the miniature. Now when I say hacking apart, I mean very carefully splitting it into the right pieces so you don't break the stuff that you want. This is the difficult part. What I always recommend with this is make sure you wear eye protection in case you get any kind of plastic residue in your eye, or you're using glues and solvents, and also make sure you're careful with blades and saws. They're really very sharp and you end up with horrible injuries if you're not careful with them. Okay, so I've chosen the one I'm going to start with. This little guy here. He's in your standard position. He's got his staff, both hands are attached, and he's got his head there. Now, let's start with the hardest part, the jump pack. Now the jump pack is attached here, and here, and here. Now, this is difficult to remove. So, start by taking a flat object, just putting it underneath and twisting it slightly, and there you go. Because this guy's used super glue, that just pops straight off. So that was really simple. That's great. So the super glue was there and there. Pop it under, just twist it very carefully. If you feel the plastic bending, stop twisting, and then maybe just go in there with a craft knife and just try and loosen it a little bit. But this one's just popped straight off, so that's great. So first part, the jump pack, which we're not going to need anymore, has gone. Now next part is the tail. Now the Pretorians have tails, the Death Guard do not. Make of that what you will. Now the tail, also stuck on by super glue, you should just be able to put a little blade in there and twist. There we go. And tail comes straight off. So immediately this thing's looking a lot more lychguard and a lot less Pretorian. Now, next part, which should be fairly simple, is popping his head. Now the heads are just attached to a small triangular piece of plastic underneath. So if you just... So on the end of his head and pop! There we go. Head comes straight off. So you've got a nice clean break there. Head came straight off, no damage to the head. Put that aside in your spare bits box along with the tail and the jump pack. Now, we're getting quite into this now. Now the next bit, the spine section. Now you shouldn't actually have to remove that particularly because we're going to take the whole back off, because the back of the Pretorians is very different to the back of the lychguard. In fact, I've just realised whoever built this actually has used the back of the lychguard, not the back of the Pretorian, so we don't even have to worry about that. Oh, that is awesome. So that's really, really good news. So he's glued it together like a Pretorian, but he's actually used the lychguard backpack and spine. So there's going to be even less work. Fingers crossed he may have actually done that to all of them, and then we don't actually have to do hardly any work at all. But let's just see. So we're not going to be using his staff because I want him to be armed with the shield and hyperphase sword. Now this is as simple as lining up a joint with your cutters and just going pop and pop. Perfect. Nice clean cut straight across both of them. We now have a lychguard body, which is really, really awesome, because I was going to try and split the whole thing in half, but nope. So that's really, really cool. Right, so first things first, let's give him his new head. So got his new head here. Okay, here's his new head, which we're going to attach to his body. Hello, hello, I'm lychguard. I'm going to stop doing that now. Okay, so body, head, body, just like that. Now it's still actually got the mounting triangle in it. It's a bit melted because whoever used plastic glue, so it's melted it to hell. So let's put a dab of super glue on there. I'm going to use my tweezers because it makes it easier. Place, oh, don't know what that is. Looks like a, there we are, a bit of stray super glue. Okay, so head's attached. It's got his arms. I don't even have to put new arms on. His body's the right kind of body. It's even got the little sort of metallic loinclothy thing that they wear on the front there, so I didn't have to worry about putting that on there, so that's brilliant. Okay, going to leave that to dry for a few minutes, and then we'll attach the hyperphase shield and sword. Okay, this is the hyperphase shield that I have purchased off eBay. As you can see though, there has got a little bit of glue residue from back from where it's been used in the past, so let's oink that out. There we go. It's fairly easy to take out. Because I use super glue again, it's just comes straight off. Once you've cleared all the glue off the back of the shield, because if you don't, it's going to be a much harder job to get it to stick, because you'll be gluing over glue and then the other glue will melt, and yeah, then it keeps falling off and you won't get a decent gluing area, so it won't adhere properly. So once that's all glued off, you can then attach this to his free arm. Before we do this, however, let's just make sure that there is no glue residue on his free arm. Now I cut that just above the joint, so it's a nice clean cut, so it's nice and flat and there's no glue residue on it, so that should just glue straight onto it. So let's give that a try. There's a little hand on the back of the shield, so just put a little dot there and a dot there. Just hold it there for a few seconds and that should dry fairly quickly. So now it is adhered to the back of the shield. and that's attached. And if you want to, you can always glue it onto the base as well, just to make sure it sticks, but I'm going to be leaving that as it is. Now the hyperface sword just glows on exactly the same. This one looks fairly clean, so there's no need to scrub any of the old residue off. So, a little bit of glue just on the arm and the tip there, and that should adhere nicely. And there we go. One lychguard from a Pretorian. Thanks for watching Recycle 40k for all your recycled Citadel miniature needs. Remember, when it comes to wargaming, it's expensive. So why retail when you can recycle? Thanks for watching Recycled 40k.